Evening, everyone. I'm calling our committee of the whole meeting to order at 6 o'clock here in council chambers. We do not have any remote electronic attendance this evening, so we start with an oath of office for appointment of Denver Schmidt to the position of Director of Public Works effective January 2nd, 2024. Mr. Vitas.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Mr. Denver Schmidt to you as the newly appointed Public Works Director for the City of Moline. You could say he started like, a week ago? Basically a week ago, and baptism under fire, when you know it, the worst storm since I've been here as the administrator actually just happened. I think we had maybe 18 inches last year and maybe 18 inches the year before, but this was a storm and there's yet one to come Friday, so be prepared. So anyhow, Denver is joined tonight with his wife Natalie, who's behind me, his 2-year-old son Mason, which is running around out there with, is that Roger Ramjet he's got, I think? Trying to remember those toys. And his other family members, Jim, Roxanne, and Georgia. How you doing, little guy? We're going to get him a truck. I know we're going to get him. So anyhow, Denver came to us, having just left employment with the city of Bettendorf. He moved back to this area. He's originally from here, I believe, Rock Island. So he's a native of this area. He spent most of his professional career in the Chicago area, and then moved back home to be close to family. I have to say that he worked in Crystal Lake, Illinois, which was the place that I had my first full-time job in this business many years ago. And it's a great city like Moline, and with a really wonderful public works department. And while he was there, he actually led them through an accreditation process, and that is now an accredited public works operation. So we're looking forward to that one day, just not right away, but that's something to put out there on our goals, right? So anyhow, he was a graduate of Northern Illinois University, my alma mater. He has his master's degree from there as well. So I'm real pleased to welcome you as a fellow alum. And that doesn't happen too often, so it's nice. And he, like I said, he started about 2 weeks ago. He spent 16 years already in the public works career, extensive background in collective bargaining and labor relations and personnel and public works management. So we found the winner out there, and we're really excited to have him join us. So with that, Mayor, if you would please do the oath of office to make him official. Congratulations.
For you. One is for me. If you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Denver Schmidt.
I, Denver Schmidt.
Having been duly appointed.
To
the position of Public Works Director. For the city of Moline, Illinois. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the constitutions of the United States.
That I will support the constitutions of the United States.
And the state of Illinois.
And the state of Illinois.
Will strictly adhere to the Illinois rules of professional conduct.
Will strictly adhere to the Illinois rules of professional conduct.
And the Moline Code of Ordinances.
And the Moline Code of Ordinances.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the position of Public Works Director.
The position of Public Works Director.
For the city of Moline, Illinois.
For the city of Moline, Illinois.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Congratulations
Thank
and
you.
welcome aboard. One copy is for me and one copy is for you. You've got the professional signature done. Congratulations again. And we have time for pictures.
We got time for photographs, please. Feel free.
Buzz. It's just like the movie. You want to join him?
Thank you, Barry. If you do the honors, that'd be great. You're all welcome to join.
Yeah, you guys can all get up. Oh, okay.
It's a family affair. He's not bashful.
Cheese.
He knows what to do.
He's taken one or two.
That's really good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
You don't want to shake his hand.
Yeah, you can.
They like to shake your hand.
Welcome, yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, give him one.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations again and welcome.
Nope. Alfred's gone.
All right, and we're going to continue with board appointments. The mayor's appointment of Diane Inani to the library board to fill the unexpired term of Kate Schaefer to expire May 31, 2024. All right, any questions? Hearing none, we'll move to our proclamation. The first is a proclamation from the Iowa Network Against Human Trafficking and Breaking Traffic to declare January 2024 as Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. And for those of you that are new to the council, this is a yearly proclamation that's been happening since before my time. Maggie Tinsman, who's a longtime serving stateswoman from Davenport, I believe, is part of this. And usually she's here with us, but with our change in date and the weather.
Representative here.
Is there a representative? Yes. Okay, what? You want to speak first? Go ahead. Tell us who you are.
So my name's Sarah. I'm a survivor advocate. And on behalf of Maggie, I just want to extend my sincere appreciation to you, Mayor and council members, for this proclamation designating January as Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. I serve as a survivor advocate working directly with survivors of human trafficking and breaking traffic and family resources, standing in for Maggie Tinsman, who is a founder of Breaking Traffic and secretary for Network Against Human Trafficking. This proclamation serves as having an impact on raising awareness, fostering prevention, and ultimately eradicating slavery and human trafficking. Thank you once again for your tireless effort in making our community a beacon of hope and justice for those affected in this heinous crime. Also, if you'd like to take action, you can contact your local state representatives, urging them to give $5 million for victim services in order to help survivors reclaim their lives by getting them the resources they need and becoming successful citizens again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. So the proclamation reads, whereas the United States was founded upon the principle that all people are created with the inalienable right to freedom, and added the 13th Amendment to the Constitution making slavery illegal, and whereas slavery within the United States today is most often found in the form of forced labor and sex trafficking, which weakens our social fabric, increases violence and organized crime, and debases our humanity, and whereas this heinous crime is found within our own community, and whereas even though awareness of this crime is growing, human trafficking continues to go unreported due to its isolating nature, the misunderstanding of its definition, and the lack of awareness about its indicators. And whereas every business, community, organization, faith community, family, and individual can make a difference by choosing products that are not made by forced labor, by working to protect our young people from sexual exploitation, by addressing the problem of internet sex trafficking and pornography, and by becoming more aware of the problem and possible solutions. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Sangeetha Rayapati, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 as Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Awareness Month. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is for you. Thank you. Okay, our next proclamation is from the Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Mississippi Valley to declare January 2024 as National Mentoring Month. And do we have a representative tonight? Don't think so. Thank you. The proclamation reads, whereas January is National Mentoring Month, an annual campaign to raise awareness of and celebrate the powerful impact of mentoring relationships, recruit new mentors, and encourage institutions to integrate quality mentoring into their policies, practices, and whereas Moline, Illinois recognizes the contributions of volunteer mentors who link youth to economic and social opportunity while also strengthening our community. And whereas mentoring programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Mississippi Valley make our state and communities stronger by enabling impactful relationships that provide invaluable support networks. Now, therefore, I, Sangeetha Rayapati, Mayor of Moline, do hereby proclaim January 2024 as National Mentoring Month. And we'll make sure Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Mississippi Valley gets that. Thank you very much. Is there any public comment this evening, Chief? Okay, hearing none, are there any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll go to our COW agenda items. 8.1, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a payment in lieu of taxes pilot cooperation agreement with the Moline Housing Authority for the housing development located generally at 1180 41st Street, Moline, Illinois, and commonly known as Spring Valley Village. Chief, excuse me, Mr. Vitas.
You can call me chief, but he's really over there. Anyhow, typically what happens with the properties owned not only by the Moline Housing Authority, but also properties that are owned by the Rock Island County Housing Authority, they are tax exempt bodies, and they are not required to provide property tax. So as a result, we negotiate pilot agreements or payment in lieu of tax agreements with them where they contribute a portion of their revenues that are generated on site. And those revenues are to help offset the cost of providing public service to those properties. So the agreement before you tonight, I believe, KJ, you were involved in negotiating this directly with the Housing Authority. I don't think I've misspoke, but we would be looking at 5% of the gross rent being paid to the city to provide for street services and sanitation services and what other services that we would provide, both police and fire. So we're recommending approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Schmidt, seconded by Finch. Discussion? We already have some other pilot agreements
We do.
with them because it's a normal practice, correct?
That is correct.
Got it, thank you. There's nothing from the council, roll call. Wait, I don't have to do roll call. No one's online. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion passes. 8.2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Emery Construction Group, Inc. for project 1463 Bass Street Landing toilet rooms for the amount of $415,000. Mr. Vitas or Mr. Griffin?
We can both probably address this. I mean, this is a project that Eric Griffith has been leading now for the better part of a year, maybe a year and a half or two even. But there was some discussion over a year ago with respect to the need to provide for public restroom facilities at our Bass Street Landing facility that's used, of course, for our summer concert series, beginning, I believe, in May and running through August, and where we see large volumes of people arrive and there are no public restroom facilities. We've been using porta potties or portalettes, depending on what part of the country you're from, and or they were using the Pub 1848 restrooms, which were very, very problematic, which really kind of started the dialogue. What can we do to improve the quality of the events by providing for proper restroom facilities? So we started to pursue. I've been back on the time when Jeff Manis was here at that time, some time ago. He launched this project. There were discussions with Special Service Area Number 5, which of course, this is a part of that. And after many, many discussions of looking at pre-built or prefab restrooms, it was decided that we would pursue physically constructing it on site, just hiring a local company to actually produce it. And with that, Eric pursued the project and the bidding, and if you want to just review that, that would be great.
Yeah, so this started about 3 years ago with Jeff Manis. Did a presentation March or April of this year. Gave a couple different options with the city council, and at the time we said that stick build would be a cheaper option. We bid it out with the help of Leggett Architects. We received 8 bids total. 3 of them were incomplete. Lowest one was Emery Construction. It did come over what Leggett was projected, but it did come out to be about the same price as the more expensive prefab for the council members that were there back in March and April. I will say this is a larger structure than the prefab. So the original prefab, I believe, was 3 and 3 on each side. This is for the female side, it's 4 toilets. For the men's side, it's 2 urinals, 2 toilets, and then a family unisex in the middle. So it does add 9 stalls in comparison to 6. So it is a
Better
little bit
value
bigger.
for the money.
Yeah, and we're spending it local too. So that's it.
So we're recommending approval of the bid.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Timian, seconded by Finch. Yes? Discussion? Yes, Mr. Schmidt?
I think that everything looks good. Everything is, I mean, we never like to see the prices coming up, but I totally understand how and why. And as you said, we're getting a better facility, and I think we've found the right facility that's going to work for us. I just want to make one comment as just something for council to reflect on, in that I think this is, we are looking here at local contractors and who we're working with, but this is going to be a complicated project. It's going to be a project that's going to require several different trade skills to be utilized, and I think would have been a place where a project labor agreement would likely have been beneficial. And I think as we think about in the future any needs to adjust our procedures, this would be a project I'd be interested in thinking about in that long term, and whether that threshold is set at the right place. So I just want to call attention to that. I don't, I think any of these companies, we've worked with project labor agreements before, so I think it would have been just fine and could be an advantage. So that was all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please remind me the timeline. We probably will be able to have this in use and installed, et cetera, for the coming season.
So the only concern is that the block that they're using might have a lead time of 8 to 10 weeks. But we do have the substantial completion right before the concert series, with a completion of right before Memorial Day. So if it does come push to shove, it might be for the first concert or two. And then I forgot to mention that we are working with the Arts Commission about putting a mural on the side of it along the bike path. So, and that bike path will be closed from the river to Bass Street Landing. It doesn't hinder really any use of the path, but just FYI.
Thank you so much. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, we move to 8.3, a resolution approving the energy efficiency and conservation strategy as required to receive energy efficiency and conservation block grant program funds from the United States Department of Energy. Mr.
And I
Vitas?
will turn this one over to Tony and Dawn, who have worked on this tirelessly to bring forward this project at the water treatment plant.
Greetings. Yeah, we worked together on developing this strategy. That's a requirement of the grant. The main outline is, to provide energy improvements, and the project will be to do a lighting upgrade for the entire water treatment plant. And this was previously approved, and it's just, this strategy is a requirement to move forward with the grant.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second. All right, motion by Schmidt, seconded by Castro. Discussion? Any questions?
I would point out, just for a matter of public record, that the recommendation through this plan is that the city's reliance of energy derived from fossil fuels would be reduced by 25% by the year 2040. And that's really what the U.S. Department of Energy is after at that federal level, and bringing it down to the local level. So it's good news.
Can I also say that this strategy is something that the mayor has worked on with her environmental working group. And then one more thing, we did receive bids for this lighting improvement that they do fall underneath the purchasing policy that would require us to bring the project to you, but we will be bringing you back a project labor agreement associated with the work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 8.4, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to an addendum to the agreement for operation, maintenance, and management services for the Kelowna wastewater treatment plant by and between the city of Moline and the city of Kelowna. Mr. Lodi, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so this is just a continuation of the partnership that we have with the city of Kelowna. As you know, you approved an agreement whereby we operate and maintain their wastewater treatment plant. They've had a recent retirement that they've lost their certified water operator, and we're helping them through until they get their new public works director up to speed.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Timian, seconded by Razak. Discussion. Yes, Mr. Timian.
I would just like to thank Director Lodi. This is community partnership. It's great. It's not costing us a whole lot of time, but it is a huge advantage to just the region.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's nothing further. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 8.5, a resolution approving certain contracts for the purchase of treatment chemicals to be used by the Utilities Department for the calendar year 2024 as tentatively awarded through the Bi-State Regional Commission, BSRC, and authorizing the Director of Utilities to execute any and all necessary documents for purchase of said treatment chemicals in the quantities needed for the calendar year 2024.
There's nothing really to say about this. This is just a formality.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Timian, seconded by Ms. Castro. Discussion or questions? Thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our informational this evening is about the January 2024 status and information report. Mr. Vitas.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of council, happy to report that you received what is really the end of the year report for status and information, and to give you a snapshot of exactly what was completed across many, many departments. Most significantly, though not in the audience tonight, is the engineering department. They closed out the year on a high note. I mean, just really, really significant. If you'll recall, years ago, projects were behind. They weren't always getting done. We turned that corner some time ago, and they've been able to produce significant results across multiple departments, including utilities and streets. In addition, you can go and you can see that, the East End Park, it's too bad Pat's not here for this, but East End Park saw some improvements this year. And I want to thank Eric and the Park Board for what they did. I mean, it's just fantastic that we're able to start investing in that part of the city after so many, many, many years had passed. So that was really great news. And as you go through it and you take a look, you can see that, all the employees received the harassment training. It's one of the things we're going to be focusing on going forward in '24 is just improving and enhancing the level of training that our employees are receiving. It's one of the reasons why we're going to be hiring a human resource manager, so that focus will be their responsibility. So unless there's questions on specific projects, I just want to compliment the full staff, from the directors all the way to those in the field performing for all the work that took place toward the end of the year to achieve the results that I think that we see. Of course, I want to point out the new salt brine solution. Rod's in the audience. They worked on that. It was an in-house project. They built their own building, got everything up and running, and I saw them out pre-treating the streets with the salt brine solution. And I'm sure it helped, even though it was a horrendous storm with really terrible conditions. And that complemented, of course, with the regular salt in this case. But reality is I think the council should be proud of where we're at. I know I am. I think you know, you can go on and read the whole report, but I think it speaks for itself.
Thank you, Mr. Vitas. I do very, very much appreciate all the directors and any of your staff input doing this every single month for us. Just today at the Plan Commission meeting, I referred them to this report because there are some projects they had questions about that are definitely remarked on in that. I refer residents to these monthly reports. I think it's wonderful transparency, so thank you for all the work that goes into producing them every single month. I will say one thing I was extremely disappointed to read was the Arsenal leadership basically backing out on the plans for the pedestrian and bike path on our viaduct bridge. Those of you who are newer to council may not know that the leadership changes over there every 2 years, and sometimes projects that were talked about some time ago change shape, etc. I'm glad that we're still pursuing what we need to do to fix that viaduct bridge. But I just want to register that with you so that when you have continued conversations, you know, I don't know how many of you remember that after the ULI study for the downtown riverfront, right? And some of our talks on council about how to increase tourism and all of the use of the river, that loop, right, between our river bike path and what could happen on the Arsenal side was a topic of conversation. And so without that investment from them or that interest from them, that really changes some of what MKSK might be looking at. So I think there's implications there of to be continued. Also, I say these things that I'm a little, I don't know if the word is disappointed or just wanting to know more about this time around. There is certainly plenty of good stuff, but 25.5% compliance in the rental housing licensure, 899 licenses out of the 1,000 letters, or was it more than 1,000 letters? I can't quite remember. I didn't write that one down. And I just wrote, my question was, how do we fix this? How are we getting, I'd like follow up on, how are we getting these rental housing landlords on top of getting their licenses filed with the city, et cetera?
Well, I think, let me speak to that because I had a conversation with Carol about that last week, actually. And, because I had seen those results, and that's basically like a third is really what it comes down to. And that was a pretty significant number, given where we're at. It's the 10th of January. I mean, it's 10 days beyond the required submittal deadline of December 31st. One of the things that we are going to do is we're going to be following up with additional correspondence with those who have not come into compliance. We will send out a second letter. It'll be a reminder that they need to come into compliance. And that'll be the second letter. The third letter will go out when they have failed to comply and when the penalties begin.
Oh, yes.
So we are going to pursue this methodically so that everybody has an opportunity. They have a 6-month grace period, as you know. I'm sure they know that possibly as well because it was a public discussion. But the reality is we want them all to come into compliance. So we're working toward that goal.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
That compliance ratio does not surprise or shock me in any way. But I was curious on looking at that 3,500 letters and applications. How clear are we that each of those is certainly a rental property? Because I'm well aware of many people who receive letters who are not in rental properties. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how closely we were tracking that, because I know a lot of the direction was simply to, well, don't ignore it because you're not a rental property, it won't be a problem.
Correct. We started out under the premise that they were rental properties based upon the ownership records at the county. And we've heard from, I believe it was 110 in the finance department so far that they are not rental properties. So we will adjust according to what we're learning, but we will trust and then verify. So it could very well be that you say you are not a rental property the way you're registered, and when the rental inspectors go out and we knock on the door and a renter answers the door and it's not you, well, that's a different issue, isn't it? But if the owners are there, then it's a different story. So there's going to be a period, probably the first year, where we're going to be trying to sort through what's real versus what's not real based on the county records, because that's the best we have to go on.
Certainly. Yeah, and I think that will impact that ratio.
It should.
One other thought, and I'm throwing this out, and I think it'll be up to our staff to decide if it makes any sense, but it was shared with me, and I thought it was worth mentioning that there are a number of people who own and operate rental properties who then seek a reduction in their tax liability by asking that their property be downgraded from good to fair status or from fair to poor status. And if we're thinking of rental houses we know of that should be inspected, I think we could use what that status is as one of the indicators of whether they should be higher on that list, particularly if they're seeking poor status or if they are existing in poor status. Whether it's because they've chosen to do that for liability reasons or because there are legitimate problems that might need to be addressed first. It's just a thought. I'm sharing it out there and letting
You're
it
saying
come to the right people
compare
to.
lists. You're saying compare lists.
Yeah, we can
Go
work with the
after.
two townships assessors and glean from them what those conditions are.
Because we're going to have to pick where to start, and that seemed like a place that made sense to
Correct.
me.
That's
Of
a good
course, that's
point.
assuming that that is a legal and wise way to do it. There may be better ways to start, but just sharing an idea in case it's
Okay,
helpful.
it's a matter of public record. It's good.
Anything further from the January status and information? Yes, Mr. Timian.
I also appreciate the transparency, and I'm always happy when the contract cost is lower than the project cost. I recall, and I'm maybe just asking for a refresher, the majority of our traffic lights are a little over budget, but there's one project, 16th Street and 36th Avenue, and then the one on 41st Street, 32nd Avenue, that is almost $650,000 over budget. And I'm just kind of curious, I can't recall why. And it's concerning that if traffic light, I know we're doing upgrades there too, so it's more than just the lights. But if traffic lights become that expensive because of supply chain, it sounds like Director Dreyer's on the line. So maybe I have an answer to that one.
Is he online?
Yes.
I am here. Yeah, that project has gone. There are issues with the supplies, with the equipment, and the all the items that are structural. The mast arms and things have gone up in cost and have taken longer to get. But we also increased a good amount of pavement replacement and curb work there that's increased the cost there. So that's primarily what's driving that project, yeah.
So the pavement upgrades and whatnot, that's a mitigating factor. This isn't just replacing the signals anymore. This is,
Exactly.
thank you.
The project scope has increased.
Yeah, I'd hate to see this on every traffic light replacement going forward.
And I could not agree with you more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, hearing nothing further, we'll move to our council call to order. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have an invocation, Miss Murphy.
Yes, it's a short one. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Present?
Macias, Razak,
Present.
Timian,
Present?
Finch,
Present.
Castro,
Present.
Schmidt.
Present.
Your Honor, I request the approval of Committee of the Whole and Council meeting minutes of December 12, 2023, Committee of the Whole Council and Executive Session meeting minutes of December 19, 2023, and appointments made at Committee of the Whole on January 10, 2024 inclusively.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Aye.
Razak,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Finch,
Aye.
Castro,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Non-consent agenda resolutions. Item number 16.1, a resolution authorizing the Municipal Services General Manager to purchase a Leeboy Model 5300B paver for the amount of $189,383 and a Leeboy Model L300 tack distributor for the amount of $23,383.60 from Road Machinery and Supplies Company, utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract number 060122-VTL.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That's a motion by Timian and Murphy. Discussion. Yes, Ms. Castro?
I have a couple questions. First off, what kind of training do we have planned for the staff to learn how to use the machine?
Rod, if you could come up to the lectern.
Good evening. The vendor, Road Machinery, will be providing the training for us. I'm not exactly sure the full length of it, but it was discussed in the neighborhood of approximately a week.
Okay. And then also, how often do you think that we'll be using the machine?
Hopefully, once it's up and rolling, it will be not necessarily used on a daily basis because there will be prep work that will be involved in it, but it will be a daily basis from when they start making the hot asphalt mix, which is typically mid-May. That'd be the absolute earliest that gets started, and then it depends on the weather, but into October.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Murphy?
Do we have a tentative delivery date if we approve this?
What I was told, and I haven't gotten a recent update, but it was a 5 to 6 month lead time.
Okay. Anything further? Mr. Timian?
Thank you, Your Honor. Alderperson Finch and I went and watched the current process, which it involves using literal rakes to rake the hot mix and then a steamroller to go over. And that is backbreaking work. And I'm just really grateful that the staff brought this forward because it will be an efficiency not only in quality but time. And we're reducing risk of injury for the staff. So I want to thank the staff for making this recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's nothing further, roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Aye.
Razak,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Finch,
Aye.
Castro,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and that motion carries. Item number 16.2, a resolution authorizing the mayor to appoint a local government director for the Illinois Quad Cities Land Bank Authority.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, motion by Finch, seconded by Timian. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Nay.
Razak,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Finch,
Aye.
Castro,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay, that motion carries. Non-consent agenda, first reading ordinances. Item number 17.1, an ordinance amending Chapter 34, Water and Sewers of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Section 34-2104, Special Service, Section 34-2121, Charges and Collections, Section 34-3107, Special Agreements, and Section 34-3200, Sewerage Rate System, to address outside customers desiring connection to the city's water and sewer systems and future annexation.
Motion to advance the second reading.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Timian. Discussion. Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, probably for Tony. As we're looking at the increases in the rates, what's the reasoning? Why are we increasing those rates and so steeply?
If you recall, we presented this item as an informational 3-4 weeks ago, and the idea behind increasing this to the 300% threshold, which is the state maximum threshold, is to incentivize those customers that are not eligible to annex to sign a pre-annexation agreement. So if by increasing this rate, if they are willing to sign the pre-annexation agreement, that pre-annexation agreement would include some verbiage that would allow them to lower their rate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything further from council? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Aye.
Razak,
Aye.
Timian,
Aye.
Finch,
Aye.
Castro,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion to advance to second reading carries, and that is all I have this evening, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. We move to miscellaneous business. There's a lot going on as usual. Today I was on a call with a group called Thrive Quad Cities, which is something funded by the state to help us with our higher ed landscape. And it's really actually workforce development and economic opportunity. There were representatives on this advisory group from multiple cities and different nonprofits, et cetera, as well as the chamber. It's a good outcropping from conversations about WIU that happened multiple years ago. So that was a very good conversation. The process of filling Mr. O'Brien's seat continues apace, so I'll be able to stay on schedule with that. Also, last Saturday was a New Year's mixer at the Arsenal. Some of you were able to go. It was good to see you there. It was good to talk with other folks in the community from other jurisdictions. And we hope to keep those conversations going. I will need somebody who's available to attend the RIATA, the Rock Island Arsenal Defense Alliance board meeting this coming Friday. So I'll send an email out to you because I will be out of town for the U.S. Conference of Mayors Winter Conference. And I'm still waiting to hear about a $10,000 grant called DollarWise Grant that can be added to our Level Up program. I did inquire because those will be awarded at the conference. But at the secondary conference that's next door, Mayor's Innovation Project, which I've brought things back to you from before, we will be featured, Level Up will be featured in the, what is it called? Innovation Showcase. So hopefully I'll bring back other ideas from other mayors who are also in that showcase and see what fits for Moline, if anything. That's all I have.
I want to remind you that Monday, the Martin Luther King Center in Rock Island will be having their annual program, and the Project Now director, Dwight Ford, will be the speaker. So if anybody can attend, I will not be able to because I'll be out of town, but I just wanted to remind you.
Mr. Razak, anything?
No, thanks.
Mr. Timian?
Thank you, Your Honor. I attended the Illinois Legislative Review summary today. There are a number of new House and Senate bills that impact building codes locally and a few other things too. I just learned that emergency childcare situations allow us to attend this meeting remotely as an excuse now, whereas it didn't before. So for those of us with kids, it's a crutch. There's a number of exciting legislation happening on the state level that I'm just really excited about. I also just wanted to ask everyone here, I did this already. I contacted the principal at my local school and sent them all the Level Up information because they are the point person oftentimes for some of the families that need the emergency grants, and they could know. So I would just encourage you to do the same.
You could also send them the other portion, the ARPA emergency funding. We still have some of that left over, so it's a secondary source.
I will do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep, Ms. Finch?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Ms. Castro?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you to our Public Works Department for all the work they have done in the snow and keeping our streets clean and safe. I had just like one call from a resident, so I think that's pretty good. So just thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
Ditto. And that is all.
Exactly. That's great. Mr. Vitas?
Well, first meeting of the year, welcome back. Happy New Year to those I didn't get to say Happy New Year's to. And we're looking forward to a really great 2024. It's going to be exciting. Staff is already, vigorously starting to get programs up and running for 2024. We've got some new, action plans that need to be prepared specifically for the new strategic goals going forward. Those will be brought back to council so you can see those. And we're excited that, not happy about the snowfall. I won't be happy Friday, but I did have to close the offices yesterday afternoon because it's just too perilous for travel. And a lot of our employees, most of them live in the city, but they live all around, and getting across even the bridge to go to Iowa at 20 miles an hour is not such a great idea. So anyhow, I hope I don't have to do that on Friday, but I will always advise you if that is the case, okay? As the mayor said, there is a lot going on. I am pursuing discussions with the colonel with regard to what the mayor mentioned earlier. I advised him on the Friday before the Thanksgiving or Christmas holiday that he and I needed to have a sit down and talk about it because we've expended resources. And I want to know how we're going to either recoup those or they're going to use those plans at some point, but we just did not go forward blindly. And I want to make sure that we're on the record with them in that respect. It'll be a collaborative discussion, but it needs to be had because, we got the rug pulled. And I don't know how that happened. I think we as a city need to know the answer to that. And I will bring that back to you. And with that, I will yield the floor back to the mayor.
All right, any other staff with updates? Okay, hearing none, then is there any further public comment? No, we move to executive session.
Your Honor, I make a motion that the council convene an executive session for the purpose of discussion of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, property acquisitions -5 ILCS 120/2C5.
Second.
All right, motion by Murphy, seconded by Timian. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy,
Aye.
Razak, Timian,
Aye.
Finch, Castro, Schmidt.
All right.
We are in closed